Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Now, the dua of istikhara is a dua that most people have heard of, but many people are confused about it, or they misunderstand it, or they do practices associated with the dua that have no place in the dua or in the sunnah generally of Rasulullah. So there is a hadith narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah, where he says the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to teach us the way of doing istikhara in all matters, as he taught us the surahs of the Quran. He said, if any one of you thinks of doing any job, he should offer a 2 rakah prayer other than the compulsory ones, and say after the prayer, and then it's the dua, Allahumma inni astakhiruka bi ilmika wa astaqdiruka bi qudratik. So here the Rasul is teaching you that if you have any need, so it's not a big need or a small need or marriage specifically. Most people think it's marriage. It's any need you have. Rasulullah taught, if you're in any decision that you need to make a decision about that you're unsure, is to pray 2 rakahs, to make wudu, pray 2 rakahs, and then ask Allah for your need. And then Allah will give you guidance thereby. Now the dua of istikhara, so we'll have a look at the dua of istikhara quickly, and then we'll go through the actions of istikhara and how it's done and what to avoid and what to do. So the dua in Arabic is Allahumma inni astakhiruk bi'ilmik wa astaqdiruk biqudratik wa as'aluka min fadlika al-azim فإنك تقدر ولا أقدر وتعلم ولا أعلم وأنت علام الغيوب اللهم إن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر خير لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبات أمري فاقدر أولي يسر أولي ثم بارك لي فيه وإن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر شر لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبات أمري فاصرف عني واصرفني عنه واقدر لي يسر واقدر لي للخير حيث كان ثم أرضني به. So the translation is, Oh Allah, verily I seek the better of either choice from you by your knowledge, and I seek ability from you by your power, and I ask you from your immense bounty, for indeed you have power and I am powerless, you have knowledge and I know not, you are the knower of the unseen realms. O Allah, if you know that this matter is good for me with regard to my religion, my livelihood and the end of my affairs, then decree it for me, facilitate it for me, and grant me blessings in it. And if you know that this matter is not good for me with regard to my religion, my livelihood and the end of my affairs, then turn it away from me and me from it, and decree for me better than it, wherever it may be, and make me content with it. So this is the dua of istikhara. Once you've done this dua, once you've prayed, you make this dua and then you consign your affairs to Allah. Now, it's recommended to make this dua 7 times. Now, if you've got any affair in your life, as we mentioned, be it small or be it big, you resign yourself to Allah on the one hand. You are totally submissive, and the purpose of istikhara is basically turning towards Allah and saying, I am not capable of anything. You are capable. You know what's better. You know the unseen. You are the creator of every affair. Decree for me what is good. Turn me towards it and save me from what is bad. Turn it away from me and turn me away from it and give me something better than it. This is the dua. So in the first instance, when you have a need, you turn towards Allah. You make the dua and then you seek, this is istikhara, then you do what's known as istishara, which means you seek the means. And how would you seek the means in this world? If it's a job that you're applying for, you research the job as much as you can. You ask people in the industry. So if you're applying for a job in telecoms, for example, you're not going to speak to a doctor about it. That's not called taking the appropriate means. You'd speak to someone in IT or in telecommunications or in things like that. If it's moving country, doing hijrah or going to seek study, you would look at the ramifications upon you of moving to another country or starting a degree or going to another place to do a course of education, be it Islamic or otherwise. You wouldn't ask somebody who works in McDonald's. He would know about McDonald's. If he needed the job in that particular area in catering, yes, then you can ask him. But then you would ask somebody who's been in that situation before. somebody who's wiser than you, somebody who knows if you were to do this, what the repercussions would be for you at this state in your life. So that would be family members, right? You would consult them. You consult them, you turn towards Allah. Once you've consulted them, now you naturally will have, everybody's biased, especially when it comes to marriage, for example. So if, for example, you want to marry somebody, a proposal's come for you, or you have proposed to somebody and you're stuck between two choices, or even if you have one choice. The reason that you've proposed there is because your heart's inclined there. You would have never proposed in the first place if your heart wasn't inclined there. So naturally, you're going to be biased. And you're going to wish that you get some sort of indication that that's where you end up marrying. Now, that's the reason why we don't go by feelings. We don't look at our feelings in istikhara. It's a dua. It's being with Allah. It's resigning yourself to Allah while you make the decisions in your own life. So if in a case like this, you would try to keep as neutral as you can. And it's certainly not possible to keep neutral if your heart's inclined towards a particular woman, right? So you have to try your best to keep neutral. You consult. You don't use your heart. You don't use your feelings. Certainly feelings sometimes you have a gut feeling something is wrong and something is right. The feeling I'm talking about here is the feelings of love, the feelings of the dopamine rush and the adrenaline rush that you get, the butterflies in your stomach. We're not talking about these kind of feelings. We're talking about the gut feelings that you have in the back of your mind that you can't explain. Like your soul already knows what's right and wrong. Sometimes it's clouded. The true state of what's right and wrong is clouded from you by your emotional weak judgments. So we want to look beyond that. And sometimes by asking people, it becomes clear. Other people will tell you, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. Search in your own heart. What does your heart say? You're forced to answer, and then they say, well, you know the answer, why don't you do it? So in this situation, these are the feelings we're talking about. So you pray the two rakas, you make the dua. Now the etiquette is that if you are in wudu, it's better for you still to make wudu. So you make the wudu, you pray the two rakas, pray them as best as you can, and once you finish, you supplicate. Now it's best to supplicate in the Arabic language. If you don't know the Arabic language, then you can supplicate in English. If you don't know the dua by heart, you can have it in your hands on your phone or as a book, and you supplicate. And if you don't have wudu, or you are not in a position to make wudu to pray, then you can still supplicate. You supplicate and ask Allah. If you don't even know the dua and you have a need, turn to Allah. Most people only turn to Allah when things turn south. When things get really bad, that's when they turn to Allah as a last resort. Here, you're turning to Allah in the first instance, and at the same time, you're asking for help. And it's always advisable that once you supplicate, at the beginning of the supplication, you praise Allah and then send blessings upon Rasulullah, and then you make your supplication heartfelt, and you're not hasty in the supplication. It's not a think about what you're reading. Be with the words, pause, understand, make the feelings flow that it's truly for Allah, and then close your supplication by sending praise upon Rasulullah, and then don't be hasty. Decisions don't come straight away. Minds are not changed straight away. Normally the first decision you make is a decision in haste, and it's the wrong decision. So you need to slow down and think. And sometimes you will get an indication in the first time you read. If you don't, you pray up to 7 times. The ulama say you pray up to a maximum of 7 times, and then you don't pray, because it's not an obsessive thing. There's a general dua and then there's istikhara, but we don't obsess over things. We make our decisions then. Now, what sort of indications and signs are we talking about? Well, first and foremost, we're not talking about emotional feelings. We're not talking about dreams. Many people have the understanding that istikhara means that you have a dream. Some people say you will see colors, like white indicates yes, and red indicates no, or black indicates no, green indicates yes. Some people, you could have like a dream of, you could see the girl you want to marry in a nice situation. The problem with dreams is certainly there is an understanding that we take, because dreams have a reality to them as well. If they're not dreams based upon your own nafs, and based upon what you've eaten, and it's a reproduction of what happened during the daytime. It's a regurgitation of pent-up emotions and activities in the day. Then there is some reality behind dreams. But how do we know that? How do we know that that dream wasn't influenced by shaitan? It wasn't influenced by your nafs. We don't know that. So we are basically, even our feelings. How do we know that the feeling I'm getting is from Allah? It's malakuti. It's angelic. It's guidance, or it's shaitani. It's from the devil, right? Or the whisperings of your own soul. How do you know this? You don't know where it's from. So this is the reason why istikhara, there's nothing to prove from the sunnah that istikhara is based on feelings. It's not based on feelings. It's a dua for guidance, istikhara wa istishara, and then once you have a firm resolve, you take action. You do it. Certain dreams are indicators. Certain dreams are indicators, and we certainly don't avoid them, but we be very careful with what we have as a dream. Generally, it's not a dream that we're looking for. It's certainly not colors, certainly not signs. We are basically asking Allah for an opening. So you ask Allah for an opening and for guidance to turn you to it and it to you. And you will see events pan out in your life. Right? Sometimes things get easier, sometimes the way is made smooth, sometimes the way is made difficult. You will say, oh Allah, if there is shar in this for me, then turn it away from me and turn me away from it. So it's a parting. And then you will see it will get difficult. So in the case of a job, it might get difficult. In the case of a marriage proposal, you may get indications and signs that the girl's not right for you, or the guy's not right for you, or the family's not right for you. Allah could either constrict affairs for you or make affairs open for you. So it's how it pans out is your path in life, is what you take. It's an answer to your dua. So don't worry about feelings unless it's a gut feeling based on some deep-seated wisdom that is you're looking at through your emotions. Like you're not your emotions are not in front of that. Okay, it's like clarity, and then you're seeing that. We don't go by dreams and no signs and nothing like this. So many a time somebody will say that I pray istikhara, but I only pray istikhara for marriage. Istikhara is generally, people consider istikhara to be done only for marriages. Istikhara is done for the smallest and the greatest things. One of my teachers did istikhara when he wanted to decide on a book cover for his book. And any small decision in your life, you're basically turning. There's no affair in your life, because every affair in your life has an implication to your hereafter. Because everything you do in your dunya has two faces. Either it's for your benefit or it's for your detriment. So in the long term, it all adds up to the same thing. So you're asking Allah, no affair in your life is small. Every affair in your life you should take as very important. So you ask Allah for the smallest or the biggest thing in your life. And generally, the more times you do istikhara, the more it becomes easy for you to understand what's happening. And there is an understanding. People say that, can you get somebody else to do istikhara for you? They say that, oh, I'm not a pious person, or I don't pray 5 times a day, so I can't do istikhara, you do it. No, that person still does istikhara. But yes, they can get somebody else to do istikhara for them, but it's better for them to do the istikhara for themselves. So it's a maximum of 7 times, and then you go with your decision. Allah will pan out things for you. It's done. Sometimes you're totally unsure. It's okay to be unsure. Not everything in life has a clear opening. The unsurety, you make your decisions as best as you can, even if you're unsure, and you proceed, because you have to proceed this way or that way, right? You can't wait forever. As Muslims, we don't just wait. We don't wait. We actually take the means and move forward, and then trust in Allah, and Allah will do things for us. That's what we do. So I hope that's made istikhara clear for you, and may Allah accept all of the good things that you want to do istikhara for. May Allah give you answers, clear, penetrating answers and insights into what endeavors you plan to take in your life. And whoever wants to get married, may Allah get you married. Whoever's seeking jobs, may Allah give you jobs. And whoever wants to plan other courses of action in their life, may Allah give you satisfaction and successfulness in all of them.